when you start studying the Vedic tradition, you are requested to first study the Isopanisad. This is the introduction work for understanding the study of the infinite. Because to understand the nature of transcendence, we need the guidance of the authorized scriptures. Here, we will read today with you the wonderful shlokas of the Isopanisad, so we can meditate upon the introduction to spiritual life. Of course, most of you are already practicing for a long time, and it is not such a necessary thing to study. But the transcendental substance is of that nature that just like you eating every day potatoes and some other ingredients, you can keep eating it your whole life. So you can also breathe the whole life. You can also study the Vedic scriptures all your life. Because they are not relative. They are coming from the Apaurushaya, or from the inspired, revealed truth. And very recently, one person asked a question to a spiritual master, and she asked, "What do you think about Juan of the Ark, some Christian mystic lady?" And he answered that, "Why you ask about her, whether she is part of the Bhagavata culture? Everything which has to do with God is part of the Bhagavata culture. It is part of the divine Leela of the Lord. The whole world is part of His creation. We cannot say that one person or one area is more sons or daughters of God than another one. Either we are all sons and daughters of God, or what? What other option is there? That we all fell out of the accidental primordial soup? Huh? What is the origin of mankind? That's what we are supposed to study. And the Isopanisad will give us that answer. So, please join me tonight with the study of this spiritual classic. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udakshate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because He's completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Mantra 1. Ishavasya idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magridha kasya svitanam. Everything animate and or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. These first two mantras are so essential for understanding that everything is in perfect balance, and you have the free will to go about your life to harmonize with what is his best wish for you. The mystical truth is of that nature that it is always ready to bless us. You can live a life of blessing, surrounded by blessings. It is all your choice. You can hear nonsense or hear the truth. You can chant nonsense and you can chant the names and the message of the truth. You can be a wonderful person and you can be terrible. It is all up to you. You have to make the choice. And it is a perfect situation that you can make the choice. Because if you couldn't make a choice, you would not be a conscious unit. Because God has not created conscious slaves in eternity. So He has made you with this free will, and that makes your life a wonderful experience. Even if you go the wrong way, it is also wonderful. We have to be able to learn what is right and what is wrong. And if we have no personal experience of it yet, I guess we have to go wrong a few times to see that that wasn't the right thing to do. So it turns into an illuminating experience. There's a wonderful saying. It says there's nothing bad which doesn't come for a good reason. So we should embrace life very positively and search for perfection, whatever that may take to reach. And as far as all the properties and all the circumstances in this world, we should never forget that He has supplied everything. And now the test of the activity is, are you accepting what is necessary for you, or are you taking more? You know, we are in a capitalistic society. It's called the Greed Incorporation. And there everybody wants more and more and more. They don't care whether others have nothing. In that particular type of world, we can understand that it's very difficult to focus on God and to get His mercy. Therefore, Brahminical culture teaches us dana, that we are supposed to give to others whatever comes our way. Because of all the things we are getting in this world, Vedic knowledge is the greatest of all gifts. If we don't give it to others, we are becoming misers, kripanas. Just like those people, they buy all the rice which they can get. And then when there's no rice in the market, then they're selling for 3 times the price or 4 times. This type of misers and greedy people, they are not the people who can understand Krishna. Krishna says very clearly that for everybody there's enough. And we should always remember that it is His who is the supreme enjoyer and who we should please. If we don't do that, our spirituality is not developing. Mantra 2. Kurvan evaha karmani chichi vichekchatam samaha evam tvai nanyate tusti na karma lipyate nare. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. for that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There's no alternative to this way for man. It is very authoritative. Vedic scriptures don't offer options. They say what's right and what's wrong, and they say the option is for you to obey or not to obey. But it's not that they say, maybe you like it this way, maybe you like it that way. It's all up to you. It's all relative. One man's food is another man's poison, so just have a good time with the whole thing. No. It says, I gave for everybody what they need. I set aside their quota. And now, he says, if you do that, if you accept only what's necessary, you will not have any karma to pay. The karma comes from the cheating mentality. If you act in a way that you want to please the Lord, who is the owner of everything, the enjoyer and the controller, then there is no impediment for your spiritual growth. Otherwise, only thing you have to do is go on experiencing different material circumstances. And you know, material world is very broad. You can get anything here which you wish to get. You only have to desire it, and then it will come your way, either in this lifetime or in another lifetime. But the mercy of the Lord will only come your way when you are eager for it and when you are ready to obey the recommendations of the Vedas. Therefore, this is the introduction book. If you don't accept the Isopanisad wholeheartedly, don't even go on studying the rest. You won't get it anyway. You won't understand it and you won't progress. You have to start the Isopanisad again from the beginning. You have to read this book as long as you say, yes, I accept this. This is what I wanted to find in life. I read the Bhagavad Gita first time. I was living in a yoga school and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand how on a battlefield they would speak about the truth. I thought it was the worst place in the world to speak about even a battlefield, because I was ahimsa follower, non-violence, and I could not imagine how the truth will be announced on a battlefield. So I had to read the Bhagavad Gita again. And I had to read it another time. And only after the third time of reading, I started understanding that I'm living in a battlefield, and therefore it's very natural that I should be given the instruction of the battlefield to know how to battle against Maya in an appropriate way. Then I could understand the other message was really, you have to go to the sweet teachings of God, which are much, much more charming than just the moral codes. But the moral codes are not obstacles, they are not undesirable for us, they are simply not the essence of everything. Mantra 3. Ashurya namate loka andena tamasavritaha tangste pretyabhigachanti ye kechat mahano janaha. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. You see, the killer of the soul is that person which does not accept that our soul has a spiritual purpose to fulfill. Actually, you cannot kill the soul. The soul is eternal. But you can kill the loving function, the service function. You can kill many wonderful qualities which the soul is inherent. We can also misguide other people from spiritual life by giving wrong instructions to them. That is also something which you may call the killer of the spiritual path. And another way of killing the soul is when we become a follower of the impersonal concept of life, where we want to give up thinking, feeling and willing. If we want to eradicate this, no more thinking, no more feeling, no more desiring of anything. I want to become non-existence in the world of personal notion. Then this is also it's called a spiritual suicide. Because you want to eliminate your individual participation, but what you also eliminate when you do that, you eliminate your possibility to love God. Therefore, within Brahman, we will not find any information about the transcendental Lila, Guna, Venu, Madhurya, about all this sweetness, the flute song of Sri Krishna, his different activities, his different pastimes in this world, his sweetness in his love with his devotees. This will not be available to us. We can't reach it because we don't want it. We just want to be liberated. So this is also a kind of a killing of your spiritual notion. But here, if you do not accept the eternal soul and find what is the destination for the eternal soul, then who knows, you will go into such different circumstances where the faceless go, which is full of darkness and ignorance. Mantra 4. Aniyat ekam manaso javiyo nainateva apnuvan purvam ashat tattavatonya natyeti tishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadati. Also fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the wind, swifter than the mind, and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Also in one place, he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. So we should not think that there's many people who are all in the absolute position. Navayovana, Hare Krishna. Most welcome. My God brother Navayovana. Please, a cushion here. Come in, please. Good journey.
Very nice journey. All's well that ends well.
So, you see, God is unique. And being unique, He is the origin of everything and everyone. And He maintains all of them. He even maintains Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And that is an amazing thing. Because you can see in the Vedic description, Brahma, he was born from the Supreme Lord as his firstborn son. And Lord Shiva, he was born from Lord Brahma. So where are they? They're inside of a Brahmanda. And this Brahmanda, that was created from the pores of Lord Vishnu. And he permeates everything and everywhere. He is present in every atom. And he's the fastest of the fast. Nobody is more capable than him. So we should never fall into the illusion to think that there is somebody equal or superior to the Supreme Lord. This is what the Isopanisad stresses here. When people say everyone is God, this becomes simply a meaningless statement. I'm not in every atom. I'm not in your heart. I can hardly remember what I was thinking yesterday at that time. I'm a very insignificant soul. Maybe you're not as insignificant as I. That could be quite likely be the case. But I do not think that you are in every atom or you are in everybody's heart. I don't think that you understand all the languages of the world. And I don't think that you supply the food and the air to others either. So if we say you and me, we are God, so what does it mean? Well, what's the meaning of the word God then? According to which language and to which usage of language do we say God? Because God just has been described here. So this is the authoritative. So if we want to call each other God, we first have to apply according to this description. Now, we are confused only by one thing. And that is God and godly. God and godly, it sounds so similar, right? It's just like sun and light. So similar, no? Oh, the light has come. But you are not saying the sun has come because it would burn this room immediately. Huh? Fortunately, it's just the light which came and not the sun. So, to say that the light and the sun is the same is not a very scientific statement. So, in the same way, God and godly. Yes, every individual conscious unit is godly. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. And this is wonderful. So we are a whole bunch of godly people here. But if we think we are godly, that won't be too good for us. That's not what the acharyas have recommended. But you should see the godliness of the others. But we should not forget that the personality of Godhead, within Him you find the answer for everything. If you know Krishna, there's nothing more to be known. If you reach Krishna, there's nothing more to be obtained. This is the message of this book called Sri Isopanisad. What means Isho? Isho means Isha. It also means Ishta Deva. It is the Upanishad of God. It is, the other word you could say, it is the revelation about the Supreme. And therefore, we should be very cautious when we read it to open our heart for it, so the message can go in deep, 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 and really make a change here. Because if you don't make a change here, then you will just remain the way you are now. Mantra 5. Tat ejati tannai jati tat ture tat vantike tat antarasya sarvasya tatu sarvasyasya bhayataha. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He's far away, but He's very near as well. He's within everything, and yet He's outside of everything. Yeah, I got it. Now I can say God is impersonal. Now I will apply my logic on top of Him. If He's inside everything and outside of everything, if He's the nearest and the furthest away, that means He can't be a person. Because a person could not be simultaneously here and there and this and that. It is a contradiction. So I do not think that there is such a divine person. So I'm limiting the Lord. I want to study the Vedas, and first I want to establish the standards of the Vedas. I want to apply my little peanut brain logic to be able to say what's divine, what's not divine, what's God, what's not God. And in this way, I disqualify myself from being a student. The Guru will say, you better go home to your mother. You're not ready to study the Vedas. You're not ready to accept that the Lord can be anything and everything. You don't want to accept that He can be here and there simultaneously. You don't want to accept that He can expand Himself as often as He wishes. That He can be in the heart of everyone and still be one person. Then you cannot understand the Vedas. The glorious pastimes of God are so wonderful that the only thing we can do with it is worship. Worship the Lord's feet. Worship His mercy. Keep His glory enshrined in your heart. Let Him reside there, whatever way He is. Don't put any restrictions on Him. Don't create declarations which may limit Him. God is beyond anybody and everybody. But He wants to be with His beloved devotees. He wants His devotees to be with Him. And He will reveal Himself to His beloved devotees as well. Mantra 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani ivanupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato navijugupsate. He who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all entities as His parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything nor any being. This is the key for universal love. We have to see Him everywhere. Everything, everybody's connected with Him. Do everything considering Him. Do everything considering that everybody's your brother and sister. See the Lord everywhere, in every atom. This means He has many aspects. The Lord is everywhere is one aspect. The Lord is in everybody's heart is another aspect. The Lord is omnipotent. He is omniconscious. This is all different aspects. And the Lord is the sweetheart of His devotees. It's another aspect. The Lord comes as the deity. It's another aspect. The Lord comes as the Holy Scripture. It's another aspect. The Lord comes in the form of the Holy Name. And He even comes in the form of the food which we take. Therefore, when we take prasadam, we should take it with great love and gratefulness, with great respect. Prasadam is so wonderful. Everything which comes from the Lord is transcendental. So, we understand that He wants us to be with Him. That's why He invites us to think of Him, to chant His name, to be with Him. So this is wonderful. And in other words, He is showing us that we are eternally His. We are His parts and parcels. So that means He cares for us very much. He really wants us to be with Him, but not by obligation. Mantra 7. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutvi jnanataha tatrako mohakashoka ekatvam anupashyataha. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? We are all so important for the Supreme Lord that He has invested His own nature and potency and power in a proportion inside of us. We are part of His family, so don't put anybody in anxiety. Don't make anybody unhappy. Because if you do that, the Lord will not be very happy with you. We are all the same souls. We all have the same value. And we all have the same chance, and the same invitation comes to us. If we are different from each other in our temporary existence, that's just because of our desires we had. If you wanted to be a crocodile, if you wanted to scare everybody, and you get a nice crocodile body, maybe 6 meters long. You know how many people they make an ugly face to others? You know what you want? They want to scare everybody, so they can become crocodiles. Then everybody will run away as soon as they see you. And nobody will come and try to pat you on your back. But then will some people say, oh, I want to make my boots from his skin. So, not good idea to become crocodile. It's better you become very kind, very loving, but don't forget one thing, that you will always be in anxiety until you accept your position as a servant of God. You see, every living entity is a jewel. Because God is the supreme jewel, He has only created jewels. Even if there's somebody in illusion, he's still in jewel. Everybody is wonderful. And we have to see that spiritual essence of people. Then we will be very enthusiastic for preaching. We will be so happy to go out and tell everybody about Krishna. Every contact will be a delight. Just like today we had a special kirtan. We were protected by the German police. And they told us, don't go away. Now you must sing here. So I told them I want to go. No, they say you sing here. So I said, oh, thank you for the special protection, no? And we chanted for 20 minutes there. They wouldn't let us go. There's a new part we have not experienced previously. Then I was suggesting, why don't they take us to the police station, because we have never had such a beautiful kirtan for the whole police department. Huh? But they thought it was a better idea to bring all the people to hear the kirtan there in the street. So they brought a whole commando to see us and hear us. So then they thought after a while that it would be better to let us go. Otherwise we wouldn't be here in class now. So they're very nice people, everyone, even though they don't know. I was wondering what they were thinking while they were on duty with the kirtan. Outside he was trying to show off like he was tough, but inside he was enjoying. But it is better to come to the temple and chant with us in ecstasy. Then Balabhadra told one the policeman, why don't you come and visit us? He said, oh no, you have many restrictions. And then, if I'm not qualified, I can become a worm in the stool. Because for all my sinful activities. So this is not so good for me. So it was a nice experience. Mantra 8. Saparyagak chukram akayam avranam ashnavidam shudam apapavidam kavir manishi paribu swayambur yata tatyatoritan vyadachak chashvatibiya samabhya. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. Well, sorry, that's too much for me. He's everything, he's beyond our reproach, he has no veins, he's omniscient, he doesn't have a body, he's uncontaminated, and he is a self-sufficient philosopher, and on top of that he fulfills everyone's desire since time immemorial. Now what's the conclusion? Is he or is he not? Is he somewhere or is he nowhere? What is the end of that story? For the first book, it's pretty complicated, don't you think so? It's really putting us on the spot. The answer? That he's anything he wants to be. He's your worshipable Lord. He is so wonderful that you can become his devotee. And you do not have to worry about anything. And whatever he is beyond any other conception or experience, because he is the Lord of time and space, and beyond that, the Lord of love divine. And the love divine is so important that all the other aspects of creation, they become absolutely secondary. And that's going on since time immemorial. So we are not worshipping some relative aspect of God. We are worshipping the Lord of Lords, the Lord of love, the Lord of truth. andam tamaha pravishanti ye vidyam upashate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya uvidyayam rataha. In the 9th mantra, it says, those who engage in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. That's just a confirmation of the law of karma. And it's also showing that our intellectual position is not very strong. Those who are reading and comparing, but not going into the world of love and devotion and being a positive participant of this, fulfilling the sweet will of the Lord, they will just rejoice their own intellectual prowess up to the point of having no way out of the speculative realm they have created. Skeptical. They are always anxious to show their own superiority because they can think over others. But you cannot think over God. You cannot even think about others because you can never know who are the others, what they are feeling. You can never think over feelings. Feelings are higher than thoughts. And that means the realm of love is not an intellectual realm. Jnana Sunya Bhakti means the world of love free of knowledge. But why you say free of knowledge? Is knowledge not a cherishable item? Only as long as it is submissive to the infinite and His potency of love. When knowledge wants to subjugate love and create the rules of love, knowledge has to be dismissed. And that is an interesting thing, because the Isopanisad, Bhagavad Gita, they are books of knowledge. So now how is this that they are being dismissed? This is only possible because there's something higher than knowledge. And that's love. That's Bhakti Yoga. And the mind of the intellectual jnani is trembling. No. My knowledge is not the final. My criteria is not absolute. My conclusions are not the last word in everything. That means I'm lost. I'm totally lost. Well, lose yourself into prayer and worship of the Supreme. Give up your ego, give up your fears, and just throw yourself at His disposal. That is called bhakti. Not easy. People say it's easy. Just chant Hare Krishna. But try to do it for a long time and you see how difficult it is. How difficult it is. Well, it's also easy. It depends how you take it. If you want it to be easy, it'll be easy. If you want it to be difficult, it'll be real difficult. Now we go to the mantra number 10. Anyat evahur vidyaya, anyat ahur avidyaya, iti shushru madiranam, yenastat vichakchakshire. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. We were reading this the other day. So, it's pretty obvious. Nevertheless, the Isopanisad makes a point of stating it, which means that we should once again underline that it will be up to us and that we will have to respond to how much energy and how much, and what direction we have taken. Mantra 11. Vidyam cha yas tat vedo bayam saha avidyayam mrityum tirtva vidyayam ritam ashnute. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. When you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, you see so many descriptions of things that are going on in the material world. We have to be expert in all the sciences, specifically those things which our spiritual masters have decided for us, important informations. Some people want to go direct to the Krishna Lila, simply hearing about Krishna's loving pastimes, and they don't want to hear how he manages, how he creates, how he expands himself, how he protects his devotees. They are not interested in that. So, this is not appropriate, because everything which is being said about Krishna and coming from Krishna is positive and important. On the contrary, we should read the Bhagavatam from the beginning to the end, and then we can understand the transcendental science. The spiritual masters have not given these things by accident, first this, then this, like all the sequences, the build-up of educational material is all there. Like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, first the Tattva of Goda Tattva is explained at length, and then the Leela is given. Then it's explained who is that person who is merciful and causeless mercy for the whole world. But first it is being studied, and then we go there. So the scriptures, they have a build-up, and we should follow that build-up so that we can actually get the full message. So for reaching there, we have to be able to understand all the phenomenal world and its different aspects. Mantra 12. Andam tamaha pravishyanti ye sambutim upashate tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambutyam rataha. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal Absolute. This is a very heavy statement. Because so many people worship the demigods. And so many people, they want to just know about the Brahman aspect of God. They don't want to hear about his personal aspect, supreme personality of Godhead, surrender to him, submit. They go, no, this is not for me. I don't want to hear about that. Because it is so attractive to say, I am the supreme, I am God. Oh, I will worship the Devas so that I will get lots of money and beautiful women and this and that. Everything will be at my disposal. I will get learning from Saraswati. I will get money from Surya Deva. I will get a beautiful wife from Uma. And in this way, they are always engaged in figuring out what business is the best to do. But the Lord himself says no. They will go into the regions of ignorance. So what kind of ignorance? It's the ignorance of love. The Brahman, the one surrendered to Brahman, is not going to the hell. But he is going by the Isopanisad to a region which is not the region of love we are invited for. Therefore, Vaishnavas have said that giving up my individuality, my loving relationship to God, this is like hell. So in this way, if we are worshipping demigods, we are going to the demigods. Yanti teva vrata devan. But if you go there, you will not find the Lord of your love. You will again fall down into karmic activities, and finally you end up in the nether regions as well. So, this is the way Krishna is making sure you know. You are invited to the world of love. Don't miss out on that invitation. Krishna is making a personal point here, that he wants you with him. This Isopanisad is a love declaration of the Lord to you, and an invitation for you to be with him. He's saying, you are a spark of mine. I've given everything to you. Come to me. Don't go other place. Study about me. Deliver your heart and soul to our intimate relationship. This is what it says. Depends how you read it. At least that's the way we're getting it from Srila Prabhupada, and we are very grateful for it, because this way our life is very blessed by the understanding of the Isopanisad. Mantra 13. Anyat evahu sambhavat, anyat ahur asambhavat, iti shushruma dhiranam, yenastat vichakchakshide. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping that which is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Again, the Lord makes the same point. Now you decide. You want to worship the Supreme, or you want to worship somebody lower? You want to worship a film star? You want to worship Miss Universe? You want to worship Vincent van Gogh? You want to worship Bill Gates? You want to worship a machine? You want to worship your own false ego? You can get a mirror on your ceiling, on the walls, on the door, everywhere you go and you look, you see yourself and you say, my reverence, my glorification to this wonderful figure I'm seeing everywhere. Yes, you can do that. You can definitely worship yourself. But this is not what the Lord wants you to do. From the undisturbed authorities. That's a very nice thing, no? You know, the Lord and His devotees are real authorities. But you will say, no, I prefer the films. I prefer the belletristic, the beautiful poesies. I prefer those people who are free thinkers, free living. They're not subjecting themselves to anything. They cut the hair they want, they dress the way they want to dress. They are not conforming to any type of structure and anything. They are the rebels without cause. And in this way, they are really fine, cool guys. Huh? But Krishna doesn't go for that. He says, no, sorry. You know, you have to understand there's something supreme, superior to this, and from that things go down. Anything below the absolute is rejected as a waste of time. So this the Supreme can say. He's not saying exactly what you should do. He's saying what you should try to do and what you should try not to do. Because it's something we have to realize, not something we can just blindly follow it. You know, this is the invitation to become a Brahmin. Every scripture is the invitation for you to understand it. Otherwise, why is it given? If there's no chance for you to understand it, if you're so dull-minded, if you're just a little stupid baby and you cannot understand it anyway, then why read it? Why study this message? So the scriptures, they're approaching you with the utmost respect. They say, you can understand that. You can assimilate that. You can be a Brahmin. You can discriminate between yes and no, good and bad. And this is being given to you by God Himself. So if you pray to Him and you approach Him in the appropriate manner, then you will be enabled to see the truth, to see the light, and to reach the perfection. Take advantage. Do it. Go that way. Mantra 14. Sambhutim javinasham cha yastat vedo mayam saha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyam ritam ashnute. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead and His transcendental name, as well as a temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, man and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Well, Krishna is very clear here, He's saying, come to the world of love and life. Don't stay within the confinement of egotism and miserable existence. And how do you do that? By not forgetting Him and His holy name. One should know perfectly this holy name can help you to get out of this material world. So the strength of the holy name is so wonderful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. So we should always think about His name, His pastimes, because all these things, they are so full. Sambhutim, everything is within Him, and we are becoming attached to Him when we are listening to the scriptures. Srila Prabhupada, in his explanations, he's giving us such a clear understanding of the message. There's no contradiction. But if you utilize word jugglery, you may get confused very easy, and you may think, oh, maybe this message is not clear, when in reality it's very clear. But it's not clear to those who don't want to accept it. Those who don't want to accept the message, they find a way to interpret. In English we have a saying, it says, a man convinced against his will is on the same opinion still. So you're saying, oh yes, it sounds reasonable, but I think there's something else which you didn't consider. And this invalidates all the previous realizations and conclusions. So when somebody is like pushed to the brim of his conditional existence, only by mercy and by surrender, by the grace of a Vaishnava, he can go over this and come to the essence. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tatvam pusham apavrinu satya dharmaya drishtaye. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Please remove that covering, exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So here's a prayer. The devotee responds, I can't see you. I don't know where you are. Be so kind and remove all the ignorance, even the shining glance emanating from you. Remove it so I can see your spiritual transcendental form. The Lord has a transcendental form. He doesn't have a material form. If I say, God has no material form, yeah, He's right. But if you say, form is material, there is no other form, you're wrong. Because there's a Siddha Swarupa, there's an eternal form, an eternal manifestation. And who is Lord Krishna? He's Swayam Rupa Bhagavan. He's the original form. All the other forms emanating from Him. He's the avatari. From Him all the incarnations come, all the souls come, all the individuals come. So, it's not a very good conclusion to say that the Paramapurusha, he is nobody. So the devotee wants to see the Lord personally. He doesn't want to get stuck with His divine light. Mantra 16. Pushanikarshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuharasmin semuha tejo yate rupam kalyanatamam tate pashyami yo savaso purusha sohamasmi. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulative principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. So we are part of Him. We are intimately connected to Him. He is our complementing entity for our existence. We cannot exist without Him in perfection. So He's inviting us into the realm of love. And this means the world of the most powerful, the most auspicious, the one without a second, the world of supreme love. Vayuranilam amritam atedam bashmantam sharidam om kratos smara kritam smara kratos smara kritam smara. Mantra 17. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. So once again, the devotee is recognizing, this is the message of the Lord. The Lord can remember you. Not only that, He gives remembrance to you. He also can give forgetfulness to you. He can give knowledge to you. So the devotee says, my dear Lord, you please remember me, because I need you. Without your shelter, I'm absolutely lost. So this is very wonderful. Now the Lord, He can remember what we have done for Him. Of course, you don't have to say that. He'll remember anyway. But it just means the devotee is aspiring for a loving relationship. Says, I wanted to be with you, my Lord. Please help me now. If I'm not ready, please put me in any circumstances that I can be purified and ready myself for the nearer future. I want to be with you. It's an expression of love. I don't want to go on living separate from you. And this leads us also to the last, the 18th mantra, which is the initial of this transcendental instruction of the Vedas. Agne naya supatara ye asman vishvani deva vayunani vidvan yudyod yasmat juhuranam meno bayushtam tenama uktim videma. O my Lord, powerful as fire, omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances and fall on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I've done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. My Lord, it is you, and I'm part of you, and you have made me a conscious unit. Now let me consume all my existence at the disposal of your sweet will. Make me a speck of dust at your lotus feet, Mahaprabhu said. Whatever you want, I do not want to be without you any further. So if there's any impediment to me reaching you, because I've committed so many mistakes, then please forgive me. Eradicate this influence. Allow me to come to you. I want to be with you forever. I'll give up anything else. There's no price too high for me to reach you. Just let me know. And make sure I don't forget you and your devotees and all what you wish me to do. I want to be yours forever. And I don't want to be sidetracked into the world of just nonsense. You see? That's a devotee. He don't go on smoking marijuana. He don't get drunk. He don't cheat other opposite sex. He don't go around in the world making people feel bad or stealing from them. He's a real gentleman and really helpful to others and really always encouraging to others. He's really, 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 really wonderful. That is something special. So what is it what we can do to get there? It's depending on the Supreme Lord. Everything is depending on a personal relationship. This is so wonderful to see. The meditation of the Isopanisad is prayer. The Lord says, who are you? And you pray to Him for grace. This is the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, whole Isopanisad, whole Bhagavad Gita. It's a similar conversation. Blessing for you and how to love me. And how I cannot love you? Because I'm still too far away from you. Please help me so I can overcome this and love you for sure. So the whole story of the scriptures is story of the Lord and the devotees. And it's not a relative story of somebody they met a few years, then they split apart and never saw each other again. It's not like that. Everybody mentioned in the Veda is Parshad, it's eternal associate. They're all living with God. There the Pandavas are still with Krishna. Everybody, Bhishma Dev also. All the great personalities and all the devotees, all the people got the grace of the Lord. They're all with Him. Now you don't think, oh, what a congestion that must be in the spiritual world. I think I'm coming too late. They probably won't have any spot there for me. That is again mundane thinking. Don't limit the Lord and His love. You don't need to do that. It will not help you. Because He already knows the best for you anyway. And because He wants all of us to know all these things, therefore He has allowed us today to read the Isopanisad. Now you can make out of it whatever you like. I have already done my job of delivering that message. And now it's up to you what you're going to make with that message. Are you going to accept it? Are you going to try to follow it? Do you think it's wonderful? Do you think, now I have to read it again? Now I really have to read it. This is incredible. This is all these informations contained in one book. When this book came out for Sankirtan, that was the beginning of our real Sankirtan in Germany. We were all so happy that we can give such a treasure to people, such a complete, comprehensive guide. And please don't consider, I wanted to read the whole book today, so I didn't read the purports. Because the purports, then it would have been much longer of a class, and I didn't want to burden you with that. I just wanted to say a few things. But Srila Prabhupada's purports on the Sri Isopanisad, that makes it very, very complete. So, this is just one of these wonderful treasures, these jewels which we have received from our spiritual teachers, so that we can go home back to God, and in this lifetime, only thing we have to do is take it serious. So I'm very thankful for you to give me your time today to listen to these meditations on the Isopanishads. And I really pray to my Lord that He will guide you with all the light and all the joy which you need to be able to make it all the way to the end.